Okay. So let's take a look at the composition here. So first pick Nidalee. They are the ones prioritizing the Nidalee in this game. Rek'Sai was actually banned out by C9, even though it was their first pick in the last game. Don't want to give it over, but of course that means the Nidalee goes over, and Svenskeren was pretty damn good on that Nidalee in the last game. Azir gets through the draft this time. Could have been an Nidalee, could have been an Azir first, so C9 is going to respond with the Azir and the Trundle. Remember, Aurelia is still available, and it will be picked. Getting that matchup not so bad for Aurelia, considering she's building damage early, and so instead of building defensive stats with which the Trundle will siphon off her with the Subjugate. Okay, Lucian Braum again, strong lane. Not much to say there. I guess they just really like that lane. And the Braum at least will do work against the Bard, and the Jhin can stop the Curtain Call damage with some efficiency. Victor going to be on the other side this time, and will be taking Cleanse because of the Elise in the jungle, it would appear, unless he's going to switch his summoners around. Probably a smart idea. Also, you have other routes with the Jhin, long-range route with the Jhin, possible Cosmic Binding, so yeah, that's a lot of stuns that Victor might be taking, considering he has to be pretty close to do damage. The background noise is my fan. I guess I can turn it off. Hang on. If it gets too hot, I'm going to turn it on again, though, and you guys can deal with it. So, essentially, what we're looking at here is a very strong 4-1 split push composition. Lots of range to work with here. Pretty good engage. They can teamfight if necessary with the Trundle, but usually just want them rolling over the other top laner and applying pressure that way. Good wave clear, though, with the Lucian and the Victor, so we'll see what they can do. Ideally, the Aurelia, a little bit risky to pick the Jhin, considering the Aurelia has such a good time getting onto the back line, and that puts a lot of pressure onto the Azir to get a good Emperor's Divide off, protecting Sneaky here. Also, of course, whether or not you can peel effectively with the Cocoon and the Cosmic Binding. TSM's comp has no win conditions this game. Sure they do. They can siege really well. You have Lucian, Victor, Nidalee. It's a lot of poke damage for taking down turrets. They have really good dive. Can get under turrets and deal a lot of damage. Again, the Aurelia and Nidalee combo, extremely good at diving. And they have a lot of backline threat. You know, the Nidalee and the Aurelia, if they get onto the Jhin and blow them up in a team fight, there's only really the Azir left, right? You can take care of that pretty easily, too. Oh, right, Smoothie this game, so I guess they switched their support. I don't really care who's playing. I mean, I don't really care what the results of Smoothie and Bunny swapping is. They're probably just experimenting with rosters right now and trying to figure out who's going to be the better fit come later in the season. It really did look like Bunny and Meteos have no synergy in that last game, but it was just one game. Why doesn't Bard use Ignite? Well, if they get into the backline onto Jhin, that exhaust on Aurelia is going to be really useful. Or on Nidalee, to prevent burst damage. So, it does give you less lane presence, but I think if you're actually looking towards team fighting in the mid and late game, that summoner is going to be a lot more useful than the Ignite. Okay. We're going to see standard starts here, just Australian meta. Oh, wow, nice. Good shot. And Jin. Yeah, Sneaky gets that root right out at level 1. That's nice. So, good trade there. Jin just threatening the crit right now on the double lift. I didn't end up using it, but... Oh, no, it was the crit that landed, actually. So the dancing grenade that he shot out, I think. Yep. Wow, double lift walked off of that CS. That's probably not the world's best idea. Three-minute gank. Alright, ping's coming down the junglers. Got seen. Gonna come in and invade though. Sunscreen with no mana, no blue buff. Meteos should be able to put the pressure down. Where's his lane? Where's his duo lane? Oh my god. C9 just not walking over. Impact playing this well. Nice. That was really good by Impact after he saw the jungler. Oh, Hanzo, no! Oh, nice zoning. Yeah, it was well played by Hunter. Whew. Yeah, it was good. But if we go back to what was going on the top side right here, during the blue buff, so again, it's about, you guys have to watch where the minion waves are. They have pressure in the mid lane, meaning Azir can walk through here right now if he needs to. These guys should be able to get to this blue buff faster than Double Lift and Biofrost can respond. Right? There's no reason why you have this guy here, and at least the Bard isn't already in motion towards the buff with Meteos and threatening this. You can leave the Jhin here to push and deny the CS, but you should try and make this a 2v3 and just mess with them. It just doesn't look like C9 is comfortable using their support and jungler together very well. Just everything's like slightly too slow. Okay, get a kill back, but that's actually huge for Impact. Yeah, that was really well done. Just the all-in right afterwards, able to pick up the kill, and again, having that advantage in that with the Trundle in lane already is huge because he's just going to get rolling that much faster and be even harder to stop. Looks like he is going for a Titanic Hydra though. Yeah, that was smart. Just back off. You don't need to go for that. You already have enough of an advantage. Showdown on Ward 2, which is going to cause this problem. Problem is that Smoothie has mana, therefore they have more sustain with the Bard health packs. So not going to end up doing anything. And by trading so aggressively and allowing them to push up the wave, they're going to lose some CS after this. Oh, Impact. Ooh. Still greedy. Very greedy. Comes over the dragon pit. Remember, oh, they have Crab, and he's not going to get seen because he pops over. He pounces over the side of the dragon wall and goes through the pink ward. It's a good pathing there from Svenskeren to set it up, actually, so Impact didn't have a real reason to believe that Svenskeren was going to be there. It's very tricky by Svenskeren. But the subjugate health that he gets is going to keep him alive. So C9's immediately going to make the decision to reassign their lane into the bottom side. This gives them more Drake control already and puts their winning lane on the top side. So ideally right now, so they pick up the CS from this, and they're starting to build, looks like we're going for the Yomu's first build here from the Jhin onto Sneaky. So he's going to be a real force to be reckoned with in the early game, already having some of that armor penetration. And what is Impact doing? Why does he walk? Where is he going? Because he comes out of the base, and he's definitely not going to be making a play in this bottom side anytime soon. Maybe they thought that they could push out after Aurelia recalls and go for a dragon because they can still see the duo lane up here. So he just sort of dances around in the base for a while. Starts to go path like he's going to the Drake, especially because the Victor had just recalled. And then they see the Victor, and he walks up to the top side. So it comes down to Meteos actually have to clear out the wave himself. That denies a lot of the advantage that Impact could have had in that 1v1 matchup. Also forces Meteos to show. Not really sure what was going on with their decision making, especially since they're already walking into the mid lane anyway and threatening the Drake. You just needed Impact to go to the top side. Nobody had TP. You were going to be fine there. You could still see... Again, they were just like in the first game, C9 was very, very slow and didn't actually pick up that first Infernal Drake when they had an opportunity. In this game, they look like they're setting up for one. All he has to do here is just walk into the top side to pick this up. Elise goes down into this bottom, and even if the Trundle was ganked in the top side and dove, you still get an Infernal Drake. You can chain that just like TSM did last game into a turret on the bottom side if their jungler shows in top. So there's basically no downside to doing that, particularly when the mid recall wasn't very good. You know Aurelia's gone and heading into the top side anyway, so you just lose CS and you don't get a Drake. Weird play from C9. Overly passive for sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter if TSM keeps pushing, guys. It doesn't matter. You're gonna trade the Drake. They don't know where Elise is. Elise could well be topside. And you're gonna trade objectives anyway, except the Drake is worth a lot more in the late game than that gold is from the turret. And you can probably get a turret in that topside too. So there's no you should at least try to go for the Drake there. Infernal Drake's too valuable just to leave. What is C9 doing? Good. Are they going to get a Drake off of this? Why is double lift inside the Drake pit? Just hit the Drake. Oh. Because they hit the Drake and try and get him to leash it right there. Punish him for it. I have no idea where Svenskeren thought C9 was. So they try to make the play in the mid lane. Jensen able to get out with his heal and his flash. They don't actually see where the duo lane is, but you can pretty much suspect where they're going to be. And Spencer could have just pathed into the mid lane, or in fact leaped over the wall. Bye. Take the Drake. No. Sneaky, no. Oh, goodbye. Alright, I don't know what's going on in this game anymore. Why did C9 make that call? Why would you just not go for the Drake after you kill their jungler and chunk out their AD carry? They don't have TP, and even if they did, Haunter is extremely hurt in the top side. Yes, you've got to worry about that minion wave pounding down on your turret, but you could just go for the Drake. They also know that Chaos Storm is down from Victor, so the threat there is extremely low. Doublelift doesn't even have ult yet. Sneaky has Curtain Call. What was Smoothie doing? So they take a magical journey. Jhin takes a magical journey. Smoothie walks around through his jungle. And Sneaky face checks a bush. What to say? Pretty terrible sequence of actions there from Cloud9, and now they lose their chance to get a Drake. They may even lose the Drake off of that. They can't actually now that Biofrost is dead, so at least it was turned around somewhat, but only an assist for Sneaky. Meteos is now challenging a blue buff while his mid laner is in base, and the bot lane was chunked out. I don't think this is going to go well. Oh my god. What is happening in this game? What was that? Okay. I guess C9 will only make aggressive plays and fight for objectives when they absolutely shouldn't do it. Interesting take on shot calling. Okay, well, we're just going to wait for... Okay, Meteos is autoing a turret. Okay, good dive. Ooh! How is this happening? This is exactly what Cloud9 should have been doing a few minutes ago to TSM. Instead, TSM is the one who's going to get the Drake and the pressure on the bottom side. C9 has just been giving free Drakes to TSM by not doing them when they could have. Look, I understand that they want to get Impact super fed so that he can just split push forever against Haunter, and that's certainly a viable strategy, but giving up... You can kill Haunter, but giving him 8% more damage in return doesn't really do a whole lot in the late game for you. Good shot. So TSM's aggression in this bottom side, great ulti right there, because Svenskar is the only one left up. And they're able to turn this around, buy time for Impact to be the first person in on TP. You can see the TP still channeling. And Hauntzer, by this time, is just not going to be doing a whole lot, so good curtain call. Subjugate actually takes off the rest of his health over time. And Double F just takes the crit in the front. So nice turnaround. And then Bjergsen is walking into the river when he doesn't know where the enemy jungler is. Nobody's actually seen Meteos yet. They didn't have deep wards to actually check him out there, and then he's actually killed by the root from Sneaky. But honestly, this is just another reactive play from C9. They're not actually trying to make plays on the map right now. They're just trying to deal with TSM's mistakes. And if Hauntzer had been more on point with his TP and been able to get there first, maybe that can go a different way, or at least they escape with all their members intact instead of Svenskar and dying. Let's check out what's going on during the mid lane during that time. So Victor's not even there. And, oh, okay, well, there's the problem. Once again, we see a team. This time it's going to be TSM. C9 tried to make that... Meteos tried to make the play on the enemy blue when their mid laner wasn't available. Oh, wait, that was the replay. Never mind. We need to go back and actually see where Victor was. Okay, Victor was in lane when this play started, but doesn't have the ability to actually walk down into the river right now. They have a good pink ward there. But considering that Jensen can just walk much faster down into that side of the map, Victor has to push out first. And they see Victor on the blue, and that's when Bjergsen decides to enter that river, even though he knows Victor is, or Azir is there, and he doesn't know where Meteos is. But this is a great example for you guys about why it's so dangerous to make plays if you don't have pressure. Because it's very hard for Bjergsen to actually enter that situation, and it delays him when he has to push out the minion wave in order to do so. So C9's actually able to reverse the aggression and turn it into another turret. So they get something even more for losing that Drake, even though the two things were not necessarily connected. And that's a huge advantage that they have already when it comes to gold. Thanks to the kills and the turrets and, of course, the CS advantages they have. So C9 should be able to snowball this one out pretty easily, but interesting that TSM engaged that fight, and Impact was still the one who was able to get there faster with his TP. But if you're Svenskeren, let's talk about this more. Because if you're Svenskeren, do you even want to be making a play on the bottom side right now? Realistically, you're very concerned about this Trundle. And you have a chance to at least push up with Aurelia and try and take out this tier 1 turret. Because there isn't counterplay. When there's no Drake in this side of the map, the jungler has a lot more room to come up to this top side of the map and apply pressure and be really annoying and stand there and auto-attack in lane. Because the other jungler can't take anything from it. Right? You're not going to push in 3v2 onto a tier 1 turret in the bottom lane. So why not just go for the actual pressure play here instead of going for a kill and then not prepping your TP properly? Instead, you just give the Trundle more kills because you're even on TPs. I think you just have to go after the Trundle in that situation. Okay, so now TSM decides that the top of the map is what they want while the Drake is dead. I like this plan a lot better. But this is read well by the likes of C9. They know what they want to do. And the only objective right now that anybody cares about is Rift Herald and saving that top tier 1. However, since the wave is pushing out bottom, C9 could actually stay here for quite some time and try and contest this blue buff. Walk in here. What are you doing? You can absolutely contest that blue buff. The damage is already done to Biofrost, so you know he's not really going to be a part of this fight. Sure, you don't have the Bard ulti anymore because it does swing a little bit wide. And Hauntzer comes back, but you already have Trundle going down there into the bottom lane, and you can at least poke in and see what you can do. You're in a good place here where Azir can also come around the side and at least attempt to contest this. Yeah, it's fine. It's just about keeping up that pressure and making sure that you continue to chain objective into an objective so your opponents don't actually have any chance to come back. See, Impact is playing a lot better. We saw Hauntzer overextending. Impact is playing around his vision really well. He's aware of where his teammates are. He's not overly pressing this and giving himself a chance to get ganked. Saw Nidalee right there, I believe. And not playing risky whatsoever. You can see where Hauntzer is a newer player a lot of the time just because he doesn't make the best decisions surrounding the information available, not only just to him, but to his teammates. He doesn't solicit that information as well as he could, it seems. Plays a little bit greedy sometimes. No Bartle. Goodbye. So, remember what we said in the last game? Do you guys remember? Does Twitch chat remember? When can you group up in the mid lane? When you have pressure. When can you not group up in the mid lane? When you've got minion waves at your tier 2s on both your side lanes. Because that means that nobody actually... This is a mistake, obviously. C9 is pushed forward and doesn't have the vision in order to do this. Not only that, but they don't have the Bard ultimate up to stop this play, which could have been pretty massive. Jensen, you could make an argument that Jensen saved his ultimate there for a little bit too long and could have used it earlier in the play. But instead saves it actually for the dive itself. However, why you don't do this is because these guys could be literally anywhere on the map right now. In fact, TSM is super lucky that there wasn't a ward back here that Impact could fall back to. Because he knows there's no vision in this brush. He could walk directly into this brush and just TP out. And catch them all from behind with this very fed Trundle and just kill them. Meanwhile, Jhin is able just to walk over, so you give up kill for a kill. And the other problem is that when you dedicate so many people into the mid lane and try and make a play, well, all of a sudden, they can turret dive very easily because of where the minion wave is, and they can push the turret immediately thereafter. Because there's no defense. They just killed the defense. So that's... TSM can't be making plays on the map like that. Otherwise, you will almost always, as long as the other team isn't completely stupid, lose more than you gain. And you traded 1 for 1, your 80 carry for a support, you lost your top laner, and you lost a tier 2. And you're going to lose a Drake. There's no chance for you not to lose a Drake. Again, because Azir can now recall even though he was low. Jhin can't walk here anyway. So Jhin is just able to pick up the farm. You're not actually losing very much farm right now from the side of Cloud9. You just have total pressure.
Here once again comes the collapse from TSM. Everyone dogpiling in on Smoothie, on Jensen. And here's the turnaround from Jensen. Was a great ult there to eventually pick up that kill on Douglas, who had turret aggro, and at the same time in the bot lane it's this.
And people ask how TSM would do in Korea. And the answer is I think they'd probably be maybe in the 6th place range, because even mid-tier Korean teams don't really make mistakes like that. They're not going to try and make plays. They know how minion waves work. And we've seen from both Cloud9 and TSM in this series so far that their knowledge of when to make plays on specific lanes is inconsistent at best. Maybe you can make an argument for 5th place, but I'd put them in the middle of the Korean teams as they stand right now. Certainly they had some good moments in game number 1. They played well. They're going to lose mid-turret for this. They're going to try and take 2 turrets, but they have to be super worried about this Trundle. And Hansar just TP'd for that, too. Where did he TP to? Oh, he TPs as they get this gank down. Oh. He TPs from the top lane because they were trying to 3-man, 4-man the top side. They're just trying to push faster right now because they know the Trundle's huge, and Aurelia cannot be in lane against this Trundle, who has the completed Titanic Hydra and also started to build up the armor. But not even having the TP anymore hurts so much against this Trundle, because now they have... TSM at this point, now that they don't have the TP, so Aurelia cannot recall and go into lane right now on the bottom side. There's no chance of her being able to do that. Impact will just back off. If they can actually sweep around here with the Bard and the Azir, you'll get a ward down, and you're going to be able to make a 5 versus 4 play in the top lane. So it's basically a base race right now. TSM has to commit to this. So, in spite of how shitty this looks, it actually is the right call. And they have to send 2 back, actually, just to stop the Trundle. Jhin shouldn't even be here. Honestly, Jhin should just walk into the mid lane, because who cares? You're going to be able to push faster. Oof. Yeah, anyway, Sneaky wastes a lot of time up here doing anything. Or doing nothing. When you have this kind of advantage, just go ahead and push up. One danger that could have happened is that... Oh no, there's no Baron yet. Pre-20 minutes. So you're fine. You're absolutely fine. Jhin should have just walked straight up into the mid lane and joined the rest of his team and tried to push down even harder and punish them for that. Because if you have the Jhin there and you all come around while they're taking the tier 2, okay, let's say Victor and Aurelia are trying to defend, you can just dive them at the inhibitor. Watch. 5 people on the top side. You're already on the turret here. Right? You're already there. You can't defend this, Jhin. You don't have any movement abilities. He looks like he burned the curtain call just to try and stop the minion wave or stop them from coming in, poke them a little bit. But you can just walk right out. Just come right down here. You will get dove if you're Jhin, so there's no point in staying. So 2 basing. Turret at 50% HP. Impact is working on this one. Let's see when this goes down. Okay, goes down now. And they immediately come into the bottom side. Did Jin delay a recall? That's the question. Hard to see. Doesn't look like it, though. I think you could have pressed that harder. Or gone mid lane and tried to deal some damage to the mid lane turret. If Jin had been there. I know these are... these are like little quibbles, but it allows you to press advantages much harder if you just commit to it. C9 should have not been... They should have been very confident that they could win that base race. And just gone for it. Curtain call was almost up, I guess. It was spectator bug. He did stop Braum, but I just think the speed at which they could have pushed if Jin had just walked into the lane and the bigger threat was worth it. He didn't do anything there anyway, so you might as well just walk him up with the rest of your team and try and force the base race. If you're lucky, actually, at that point, TSM makes a bad call and tries to commit to the base race, and then you just wreck them. Take 2 inhibitors for 1 with your giant gold lead. Alright, C9, what they should be doing is playing around the Baron. No impact. What the... Trundle just walks through the blind part of his jungle. They're trying to get a flank onto the mid lane right now. They haven't used the Bard ultimate yet. He's just smoothly just wandering down the lane. Where's the Bard ult? Where is it? Use it. There you go. Now, this is where you just leave if you're C9. Screw this. Just use the curtain call to zone them back and walk down the ramp. Instead, they just walk into a gravity field. But this play, I mean, come on. You have such a huge advantage. Look at... C9 just doesn't even take a moment to think about how to win this game or how to do it in the most safe and effective way possible. Your Trundle is super far ahead. 2 items to 1. Core items completed. You have an open inhibitor. They don't have teleport. You just walk into the mid lane, push this down, okay? You have 3 pink wards. You have 2 sweepers. Push this down to the inhibitor turret. Walk in, help ward this side up for Trundle. Pink ward the Baron, and then just sit at the Baron with your 4-man. Just sit there. Just play with the vision. If they try and commit to that, then Trundle gets this for free because they don't have TP. So, you already have all the advantages you need. You just need to play around your win conditions. And they don't do that. Instead, Impact decides, now is a great time to team fight with my basically pure damage Trundle. I'm going to walk through the darkest, scariest part of the jungle possible while my Bard is just randomly running up the mid lane and the rest of the team is too far behind. Just get hit in the gravity field and, die. Whatever. I mean, Fed Trundle. Open inhibitor. This situation doesn't get better. For C9. Open inhibitor on the opposite side of the map from the Baron with your Fed Trundle and their Irelia has no TP and you do. And your 6,000 gold up. It's so simple to make this play. You don't have to team fight. You never have to fight them again. Not only that, but you have an Azir, so you can take that Baron really damn fast. It's really poor closure from C9. I'm sure Reaper gave them the belt for that one. Like, that just makes you so sad to see as a coach. Have an advantage and then just do random shit. Just why? And even then, even though they make that play, they could have gotten out too if they didn't recommit totally randomly. Alright, I guess Svenskerin's dead. Hey, they figure... Alright, I really want to know how that happened. I'm so mad we don't have replays. Because I just... Well, we have this replay. I mean, game replays. Because I would love to know how this situation even developed. So, Sneaky doesn't have ult, but it's spectator bugged, so I don't even know when it was used, or if it was used just now. Was it used just now? Do I see it? Did I actually see it? Used? I bet it's still down from this. Well, I don't know, guys. I don't know what happened, but regardless of what could have happened, the wards are now down for TSM, right? So you see they've got really good vision around this Baron. Technically, they don't see the Baron itself, but they probably saw people walking there from one of these two angles. They got every angle covered, so they must have seen them walking no matter which way. That choke, that. There's no way for them to get in there without them being seen. C9 doesn't actually have any threat on this inhibitor right now. They have the lowest amount of threat they could have, given that their tier 1 is still up. Now, of course, it could be lower if their tier 1 was down, and their Trundle was back here, or whatever. But TSM has no reason to actually walk in here right now, as far as I can tell. Again, I don't know, because I don't know exactly how Svenskeren got caught out. Hopefully they'll show a replay of that. They also don't have to TP right now. C9 does not have to TP. Impact could have kept pushing. You killed the jungler. So there's no chance of a 50-50 smite steal here. You can reactively TP here if they actually come in. You never want to waste that summoner spell if you can just squeeze out a little bit more split pushing from it. Goodbye, crit. Because maybe TSM decides not to fight. They may say, okay, we don't have a jungler, we're just going to give this up. It is the safer play to TP, but it does leave you vulnerable because you'd like to use that Baron, of course, to split push with the Trundle and use that advantage that you have. And now that you don't have TP advantage anymore, it does kind of throw a lot of it out the window. I guess we'll never know how Svenskeren got caught out. That is what C9 should have been doing, though. To C9's credit, they should have gotten the Baron vision earlier instead of the suicide mission that Impact went on through the jungle. And that should be just about the end of this game, barring any future shenanigans. Victor is split pushing without TP. Interesting choice. Goodbye.